Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Joe Scarice, co-founder and co-host of the Creative Birth Strategy podcast and house here on the Creative Birth on Clubhouse. I want to welcome everybody this morning. We'll get ourselves set up in just a few minutes. Give me just a quick second. I'll be bringing some people up as well. Another great discussion yesterday. I want to thank everybody for being so involved. A solid 60 minutes talking Fed rate, talking inflation, uh, Fed cuts, politics a little bit. Please mute. Thank you, Steve. Got to keep muting every time you come up, Steve. Okay. So we'll get started here in just a few minutes. But another great discussion this morning. We're going to dive into lead generation for your real estate business strategies. We're going to touch on some brand awareness as well. I don't think people really realize how important brand awareness sometimes is as important as lead generation. They have a lot of correlation, and I don't think a lot of people understand the differences. So we're going to dive into that in just a few minutes. I'm just going to do a quick share and invite some colleagues in here, and we're going to dive into this. Now, also, please keep in mind, every one of these subjects that we put out every Saturday and Sunday morning, I provide an article follow-up that's already posted on my LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Alignable, all the general sites that that really pertain to getting out there in front of my followers. So if you don't get to listen to this, or you don't get to listen to the replay or on our website, there's an article always posted in regards to the subject the week of the discussions on the upcoming week. So I just want to let you know that, and I think it's important because I think reiterating and giving good analytics to our subject matter and our following and the people that are following back up with us is extremely important. And I'm going to give you some great examples of brand awareness first in a few minutes. But first, I want to always thank our listeners and our sponsors. So first, I want to thank our listeners because you're here every Saturday and Sunday. Saturday mornings 8 a.m. and Sunday mornings 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're here to provide education, networking, and strategy. And you're more than welcome to raise your hand, come up. You know, if you have a question, concern, uh, just a discussion, keep it nice, keep it 50-foot level so we could dive into it. A lot of us are here are unscripted with our thoughts to the discussion at hand. They're not prepped for a lot of these discussions, so it's firsthand content. I want to then thank our sponsors. I want to thank um, Mr. Yardell Perkins of Perkatech, my business partner, my associate with the podcast. He has a great social media company called Perkatech. He's a guy that you want to talk to, putting together strategy, advisory, in your social media analytics, website design, and setup, but definitely worth having a discussion with. MB Capital, where I'm a referral partner in the unsecured business line of credit environment. So if you need any unsecured business lines of credit for business endeavors, real estate, please let me know, and we'll just set you up with a discussion and strategy talk with them. I'd like to thank Linda Pelagas with Realty 411. She provides national events and publication in regards for real estate professionals and services throughout the country. She does have an upcoming event this fall in Los Angeles. If you can make it out there, it's a well-attended event. Definitely something that's cost-benefit to be there. And then I want to thank Lendmark, where I'm a senior loan analyst, where we provide asset-based lending for real estate professionals in the investment space, nationwide, single family through 4 family, 5 units up to 25 units, mixed use, 1 unit up to 25 units, fixed to rent, fixed to flip, new construction, blanket loans, advisory and strategy, and building out your real estate portfolio. So let's dive into lead generation for your real estate business strategies. So first, we'll cover that, but I want to talk about brand awareness. So I'm out there always marketing myself and networking myself, either through social media channels, coordinating events, sponsoring events. And it's so nice when you walk up, hey, you're Joe Scarice. Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. Like they already know who I am. Like it's already boom. It's a friendly encounter. And we go right into a discussion of what they're doing, who they are, how can I help them? And it opens up a whole nother type of lead gen. And brand awareness, I think is as important as let me just get my other article here. I thought I had it in front of me. Sorry about that. I think brand awareness is really, really important because um, the recognition of who you are and what you do, I think, is extremely important in your market. In the real estate industry, brand awareness and lead generation serve different but complementary purposes, each targeting a very distinct aspect of business growth. Brand awareness is about increasing the visibility and recognition of your real estate business and you. It ensures that your potential clients are thinking of when buying, selling, renting, or branding comes first to them, right? So what is the goal? You got to establish trust, recognition, and familiarity in the marketplace and with your clients. Tactics, digital marketing, offline efforts such as like local sponsorships and events, PR efforts such as like feature local media and participating in industrial panels such as this, and educational resources like blogs, webinars, white paper. Like that blog went out on brand awareness this morning. I put it out in bigger pockets. It's on Facebook, LinkedIn. It's getting out there. But then you have to study the KPIs on it. What are your returns on it? What's the social media reach? What are your followers thinking? What is your engagement? What is the website traffic? Like I have two websites. So like I do ask Yordell, time to time, where's the traffic coming from? Where are the brand mentions or impressions? And what's your role in real estate? Crucial, it's crucial to people to really define who you are and what you do. Okay. And this ties back into lead generation, where it's focused on identifying and converting prospects who are actively interested in buying and selling or renting properties. So the goal is to attract prospects and turn them into qualified leads for real estate transactions, no matter what side of the fence you're on in the real estate. What is the impact? Driving immediate measurable business outcomes, providing a direct return on investment through property transactions, and also keep defining and redefining your role in real estate. And what are the key differences? Time frame, focus, measurement. Balancing both of these, one is an integrated approach where a combination of both is crucial. Using brand awareness strategies to position yourself as a local expert, and pairing them with lead generation tactics like targeted ads or listings to drive inquiries. And then nurturing leads. Brand awareness efforts often help nurture lead generated by direct marketing, keeping your brand at the top of mind for future transactions. So what I've been doing is doing 3 to 5 or sometimes 5 to 10 reach outs to people in my buckets that I've recently had closings with. I'm always following up with them over the next 3 to 4 months. How are you doing? How's things going with the project and the property? Boom, 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 boom. And then we're having deeper discussions. Okay. I'm also scraping my LinkedIn profile. I'm gonna make sure everybody in my LinkedIn profile that I have their contact name, or phone number, and email will get an email or a text and let them know who I am and what I do, giving them a reminder. I'm also going to clean up my Facebook groups and then my Facebook business pages and start analyzing the return and the follow-ups to those pages and groups and scraping that content. And then we're going to tie it into the CRM, and then we're going to look at video. So you see, like everybody thinks you got to go to video to create the inbound lead traffic. You need to get control of your current database and the people that are following you today to make sure they know who you are, what you do, and what your why is. That is true lead generation and brand awareness in our industry. We'll start ladies first, of course. Amy, good morning. Welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to our discussion this morning. Lead generation for your real estate business strategies.
Good morning, Joe.
Okay.
So lead generation. So I guess for me and how I do any sort of lead generation, I take the approach of obviously, and you do the same, of providing value first and trying to put a lot of content out there. I know that social media is really my best lead gens for me, and then using the content piece and everything you can on LinkedIn, or even on TikTok or Instagram or any of that. I have a very strong social media kind of strategy. Um, and so LinkedIn is one of my main lead gens. I have 3 newsletters. I post all of my podcasts on there. Um, I you just generally post like a crazy person several times a day. Because understanding that even though I have I think I have 11,000 followers now, most people aren't going to see it in your feed. But what you have to do is kind of be a serial poster. I mean, it just is what it is. And then you'll draw more attention. But I've noticed that people will you won't even know they're like silently stalking you, and you don't know what's actually. You see the impressions, and you'll know that there's impressions of what's happening on your feed, but you don't know who's actually watching you. But I all the time will talk to people going, oh yeah, I've seen your. They want to do business with me, or they'll reach out to me because of everything that I'm posting on social media, and because there are websites and things like that. So it really does work. And the only other tip I will say is you have to invest the time in it. You have to be consistent, and it's going to take longer than you think. So, don't you, most of the time in business, you spend building momentum, and it'll take a good 90% of your effort to build this kind of momentum. And then once you got it, then you can just kind of keep it from there. But you really have to spend a lot of energy and effort to kind of get it going. So don't quit when you're 87% of the way there. Like just know that this if you're in business and this is what you want to do, you're gonna have to spend a good enough time marketing, and then we all get, as a fluent as Joe is, where you can just outsource all this stuff. Just kidding, Joe. I had to throw a ding in there to you.
It's all good.
But no, but it does make sense because you have to spend the time on what you're good at and what you need to focus on. So outsource it to people who can handle your social media and your website and all that great things. And I will eventually get there, Joe, where I can do that. Right now, it's me. I'm doing it all, but I will eventually get there where we'll have somebody do it for me.
Yeah.
Actually knows what they're doing.
Well, Amy, I've made a lot of great mistakes, which have provided some great successes with the social media just by just doing things, not knowing. Okay. Yeah, but now it's time to reel it in and round the wagons, and having your Adele, facilitating the website for the podcast, all the video work. There's a lot of video content already out there. So then I needed a personal website just in case people need to know who I am. A lot of people kind of know what I do. I think you're in the industry, but listen, there's my website. Check it out. It solidifies everything. I've obviously I'm maxed out at all the Facebook group page profiles that I have. I'm not going to open up a fourth one. Doesn't make a lot of sense. But the LinkedIn, I mean, there's a lot of good money in there that is untapped. Like why don't you have everybody's full contact information? Okay. And the same thing, if you're going to do Facebook and you're going to run a group, you should have controls in place to bring value to that group where people feel compelled to call a call to action with you in a lead gen environment. So I just said, listen, if I'm going to spend 1,000, 1,500 a month right now just to do a vacuum clean and get everything in order before I do something on TikTok and YouTube and what's the other one? TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. I want to see the true impact where there's balance. I have a full database. I have a good CRM. Like I feel constant contact is ancient, old, inadequate for the real estate industry. I'm going with more of a HubSpot setup, and it's going to be a difference because I'll be able to text, I'll be able to email. It's just going to have better controls, and it's a one set price. So, over the next 3 months, I don't know where we're going to go with all this. I was talking with Yordell last night about this. Like, all I know is it's going to be better. I just don't know what better it's going to be, but I could tell you at least I'll have better controls of my current platform of followers and people that I'm following or they're following me. I don't know if it's going to even create business, but I know it's going to clean up a lot and give a lot of balance to my social media look at. It's like my Google. I'm having a problem with my Google, which we're going to get addressed. Once that's fixed, maybe that might be the thing that takes everything over to the next step. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, there's a lot of, so what I learned was I originally just started just posting content, and then it was a wasted effort because I didn't have any people into my system to actually, make that work for me, right? So that's where a lot of people start. They'll just start posting content, they'll grow their follower base, but then they're not using that follower base in any sort of meaningful way. And so I was like, okay, well, that's dumb. So I need to somehow get connected to those people or get them into some sort of and it's not a sales funnel, an informational funnel, right? Where I can get their email addresses and I can keep in contact with them, and I can maybe it builds into a sale eventually, right? So I didn't have the systems behind the content, but you have to have that because it's a wasted effort for you to build out all this content and produce it every week if you're not going to capture those people who are actually absorbing your content so it can be a benefit to you.
yeah.
So so what I did then was I made a mistake. I just started creating a bunch of content, grew a bunch of followers. So now this year my theme was to be intentional. So anybody who connects with me on LinkedIn, well, sucker, you're gonna get an invite request to meet with me. I mean, you're gonna. It's not just we're gonna connect on LinkedIn. I want to actually be on a Zoom call with you. I want to know what you do. I want to know how I can help you, or you can help me, or we can network, or whatever it might be. And I might get about, oh, I don't know, maybe I get about 20% of the people that I connect with on LinkedIn that will actually get on a Zoom call with me. And everybody's like, this is a great idea. And so over the course of this year, so we're now in September, I probably had 1,500 meetings of people I've never met before because I just sent them a Calendly link on a LinkedIn message going, I want to meet the people in my network. Are you game? Let's do it. And then I got to be the master of the 30-minute meeting, and I was having, 8 or 9 meetings a day. And it was just that one tactic alone. I've met my investor who's invested in my company. I've met customers. I've met people who can link me to customers and investors. It's just really kind of interesting how that's going to be. But you have to have the system kind of behind your efforts because if you don't, then you're just kind of wasting you're just spinning your wheels for no good reason.
So,
So there you go.
well, one last question. So you're setting up like immediately when you see the connection made, you send a calendar link out to them and say, "Hey, we're connected. Let's have a brief discussion."
Yes, immediately. So I'll purposely, and I'm connecting with about, I hit my limit every week. So LinkedIn, they'll limit you to about 200 connections a week. And so I'm inviting 200 people routinely every week. I'm searching using Sales Navigator on prop tech and real estate or investors for those industries. And I reach out to those people and I'm sending out these connection requests. And then when those people connect with me, they get a message that says, thank you for connecting with me. And then I send them if you have not heard of my company or the PropTech Council, here's information about that. But second, my 2024 resolution is to actually meet the people in my network. Here's my calendar link. If you're game, book a call with me, and that's how I do it, and that's how I've been getting all my meetings.
Are you
You know,
limited? Are you limited on the invites in LinkedIn by like?
yeah, 200, 200 a week is what you're limited to. It used to be 700, but now it's 200 a week. And so I hit my max every week, um, when they connect, they get that message from me, and then from that point, they end up booking a call. I'll get a pretty good conversion rate on the people who book calls. It's about 20% of the people that connect with me will actually book a call, or they'll message back and say, eventually. But that's how I've had as many meetings as I've had this year. For sure.
So see, as I'm having my VA team scrape the database in my LinkedIn, now I'm thinking maybe once they get as much content out of there, then do 200 emails a week till they cap it out. I don't care how long it takes to schedule appointments for me.
You can use Eva Boot, EVABOOT.
Yeah.
And they can, you pay, but you can download the data that you don't get inherently through LinkedIn. You can get people's emails from it. They'll go match the people's emails of all your connections on LinkedIn. So you can create like a list in Sales Navigator of I want, C-level real estate people in this area, and you pull that list down because maybe you're going to whatever, and you use the EvaBoot extension in Sales Navigator, and it will find their emails for you, and you can pull it down, and then you can do targeted marketing those people. So there's ways to do it.
Yeah, can you put that in the chat?
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be great. Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate your insight. By the way, I made an introduction for you. I met a prop tech guy down in Fort Lauderdale this past week. Really sharp guy with some cool software that they're developing. They haven't rolled it out yet, but I thought it was a lot of synergy with you and them. This guy Sean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I hope you guys connect. He's a really smart young man, former military. Enjoyed the time talking with him. I see future business with him. So when he was telling me he was very much into prop tech, I'm like my mind went right to you and say, hey, let's make the introduction to Amy. Yep. My pleasure. Thank you, Amy. So listen, we really are diving into the crux of what brand awareness, what lead gen really means. And I think, there's a lot of real estate agent groups out there, and they give you a bunch of different ideas, and they're probably a lot of them are good. But are you going to commit to them? Are you going to be consistent? You need to spend money to succeed. It's very difficult, as Amy will tell you, to do it all yourself. It's extremely difficult. I mean, there's just no way physically Yordell could do all the stuff that I need to get done. It's a very massive undertaking. So there's always different people that you could leverage. But I guess at the end of the day, Yordell maintains and monitors everything. Like next week, next Friday, I'm going to want an update on what these guys are doing for me every week, and we're going to monitor that. So we're going to monitor the monitors. But you also have to have a balance. You have to have social media platform. You got to be on Facebook. You got to be on LinkedIn. You got to be on Instagram. You got to be on Threads. You got to be on Alignable. You got to be on LinkedIn. You got to have a Google business page. They have to all link back. You got to make sure that your Google business page is visible. I'm spending some money on the visibility right now of my Google page, so we're working on that. Because if that doesn't work, nothing else is going to work. Google is the 800-pound gorilla. So spend your money wisely and spend it in increments because you're going to need to see what is creating inbound traffic and analytics for your business. And you're going to have to come up with some content. You're going to have to use ChatGPT and put together blogs and articles and thoughts, email campaigns. Listen, we're getting away from constant contact. We're using something very relevant to HubSpot because it's just not working for us. And then you got to find your networking and partnerships as well. Linda, good morning and welcome. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to our discussion this morning, lead generation for your real estate business strategies.
Good morning, Joseph. Good morning, investors. Hope everyone is doing well today. My name is Linda Pliagas, and I'm with realty411.com. We're a news and information website for real estate investors, and we produce virtual as well as live events, magazines, podcasts, all in an effort to help investors grow their business. Now, lead generation is everything to a business, regardless of the industry that they're in or the industry it is. Generating leads is a must. Here are some ways that we generate leads. Your website is everything. So you really need to focus on the website and make sure that everything is built correctly, which means you should have a way for people to opt in to receive messages from you, to keep in contact with you. You should also have a great SEO ranking. And someone that is wise with meet with web technology can help you in that regard. It's not that hard to do. I would recommend also maybe if you're savvy in writing a blog can really help optimize your website and your SEO ranking. Also, other colleagues, everyone should know what you do for a living. If you're a rehabber, if you're a buy and hold investor, a wholesaler, whatever it is, you should have a business card and connect with people, network with people, go to the Chamber of Commerce meetings, go to Toastmasters, go to your local real estate group. If you don't have one in your area, you may want to start a real estate group where investors can all get together and just network with one another and get to know one another and talk about the issues that matter in your community. This could be really big. Also, bird dogs. Bird dogs are a fantastic source of leads. They can help pinpoint you to sellers that need to get rid of properties. And believe me, when you start paying people thousands of dollars for leads, that word is going to get out and you're going to have even more people bringing leads your way. So you definitely want to compensate your bird dogs. Other sources of leads that I've used to get sellers who want to, sell to me so I can rehab the property. Other sources include mailers. I get mailers about once every 2 weeks, folks. Some of them are really creative, and I do look at them. I think they're very effective. They're a great way to generate leads, but you have to be careful because this could be the most expensive way to generate leads. Mailing is not cheap. Social media. Amy brought up social media and LinkedIn. Yes, social media is a great strategy to find, especially people with money, investors who would like to invest in real estate, and possibly you could partner up with them. We have a huge social media presence. On LinkedIn, we have 3 accounts. One is maxed out at 30,000 members, and the other ones are like 20,000 and 10,000. So we do have a really big social media network, and a virtual assistant can really help you and people with social media and increasing your visibility. We do have VAs and we hire people from around the world. This could be a really great way of reducing your expenses as well, because there's a lot of tech savvy people in the Philippines, in India, and other places where it's not as expensive to hire people in that field. Other great sources: driving for dollars, contacting sellers of derelict properties, cold calling. And when you cold call, focus on a niche, focus on out-of-state landlords, narrow in on the people that you want to focus on. And lastly, invest in your business, buy leads. There are great sources out there where you can buy leads of probate leads, foreclosure leads, absentee landlord leads. There's a lot of great sources out there. But if you're going to invest money, definitely do the work, guys. You have to, do the work. And if you don't want to cold call people, if you don't want to do things like that, hire someone that will do it for you. Because the last thing you want to do is spend a lot of money on leads and those leads never get contacted. And unfortunately, that does happen in this business. So make just do what you want to do and make the plan and stick with it and do it. Otherwise, it's not going to do you any good. Thank you so much, Joseph. Great platform. Back to you.
Linda, thank you as always. Linda, quick question, a couple questions actually. You've been in the networking game, you have the publication, you have, local events, regional events, national events.
Yes.
What to you has brought the most results to impact your bottom line in the past year from a lead gen perspective? And be honest, because listen, we've spent a lot of money on a lot of things that failed, right? We're always doing that. Okay, we're always experimenting. But what's one thing that you saw that stuck for that any real estate professional can do that's impacted the bottom line to you and the publication moving forward for the next year? In the immediate past year, in 2024, what has worked? One thing.
People to people connection, Joseph. There's nothing quite like shaking the hands of other fellow investors. And that's a great way of raising capital for your deals, of meeting other investors who you may want to partner with, and people who may want to partner with you. So without a doubt, meeting people in person, that doesn't mean you have to spend thousands of dollars to organize an event. You can organize a meetup at a local coffee shop. I saw that you were organizing a meeting at a cigar place. That's awesome. I mean, find places that people want to congregate at and meet at, and organize a small event for other investors in your area. And believe me, once you get to know people and they know that you're a genuine, honest business person, you're going to bring in so much money and so much business, you're not going to know what to do with it, because people want to do business with others. It's just a matter of getting in front of the right crowd.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that cigar event, which is kind of ironic that you brought that up, Linda. That was kind of like a mini test that we're going to do, because there's a big expo coming up in Atlantic City in December called Triple Play, and that Monday night, a lot of people don't know what to do because everything starts kind of Tuesday and Wednesday. This is the only cigar lounge in all of Atlantic City, so we're going to actually schedule a cigar event that Monday night at this event, at this location. And it's such a great spot. And listen, I'm not saying that you have to have a cigar. You can sit just and have a drink and network. And you wouldn't believe the type of conversations you have at a cigar place, whether it's a young lady or a man. I mean, it's just really good, really great communication, a lot of fun. We keep it to 2 hours. And you know what? I walk away with relationships every time. Networking to me is the networking piece is all in the follow-up. You meet somebody in person, they should be getting an email within 24 hours thanking them for the few minutes that you spent together, and then connecting with them on LinkedIn, and then getting them into your CRM right away. I mean, and then letting them know what you do to remind them. It doesn't matter if they don't respond. You know how many non-responsive emails I get out of all the emails I send out per week? I hardly get any. Okay. I don't know why. It's okay. But then they follow up with me. Hey, I was thinking about that email you sent me 2 months ago or 3 months ago or last year. Can we talk about a deal today? So the networking events, hosting, not big events. I've been seeing a lot of these expos not doing well. People don't feel comfortable being sold. So you got to provide good, comfortable information where people can get their arms wrapped around and don't feel like they're being like swarmed. I just see them not working so well. So having smaller mastermind discussions, deeper discussions, great follow up, having calls like what Amy's talking about was, I mean, that's a gem right there. Having those calls as a follow up with the LinkedIn and setting up a calendar talk. I mean, that's going to be on my radar once I get through this next 3 months. That'll be my January to February attack. I can't do it now because there's so many other things that we're working on social media wise, but that's going to be one of the things we're going to do. I'm going to do a re-follow up once I scrape that data out of LinkedIn and calendar chat with every single person. Even if I get 10 or 15% of those individuals to return on investment to have a call with me, that's I have 20,000 people in my LinkedIn. So that's not a bad return. I'll take it. Okay. Also look at, once you get your Google business profile, look at Google ads, look at Facebook, Instagram ads, look at retargeting ads. They're not expensive. That slow drip does work and being in front of people. So some advertising, some light, inexpensive advertising, and a must is the CRM and automation tools. A must. So like we're getting away from constant contact. We're going toward HubSpot. We're going to have a text messaging system where you're going to have to opt in. We're going to have the email blasting consistently. You also then want to see the market reports of what the results are going to be. So very important little tactics you need to we've got some really good tracks here to kind of keep it moving along with lead gen discussions. Cindy, good morning. Thank you for your patience. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to lead generation for your real estate business strategies.
Hey, good morning, Joe. Hi, everyone. I'm Cindy Ariona over in Salt Lake City, Utah. Great conversation. And Amy, that was just golden. I am going to dig back into my LinkedIn because I worked it really well years ago. And I did have a substantial, um, you know, following over there. And I just haven't been working it. And really, that is where my clients are. My clients are not on Instagram. They're on Facebook. I don't like Facebook. I don't do Facebook. So what I have done is, and I'm super excited about, is I just resigned from my brokerage. It's the only brokerage I've ever worked for in the U.S. I also own a brokerage in Europe. They have served me really well, and I just don't think that they're positioned to move into the new market that real estate is going to be in the next decade. So I've joined a virtual brokerage, and as a result, I've just gone through this last month of rebuilding my entire business from the foundation up. And I've done extensive research. I've ended up, I'll tell you who I chose. Joe, I'm going with Flowdesk for my batch mailer. I am using Follow Up Boss for my CRM. And I decided to use Luxury Presence for my website. So the landing pages now that I go right into my CRM that has the audit in my operations manager setting up the all the auto flows that they automatically get this email or they get that email. And for lead generation, I think right now for realtors, I know that most of you are investors and lenders, whatnot, is open houses. People don't like open houses. That is where it is at right now. But the key is when you do an open house, is you have somebody with you, and then you capture you. It's all about the capture and what you do. The gold is in the follow up. And that is where so many people just drop it. It's in the follow-up. I'll land there. Joe, good to be with you. And thanks everyone for all the wonderful information you've shared today.
Cindy, thank you very much. Good luck with your new endeavors. Amy, did you want to go give a quick chat before I post some questions?
Yeah, sorry. I was just going to make a shout out. Luxury Presence is in the part of the U.S. Project Council. A great service. And the other thing too, and I didn't really talk about technology, silly me, but there is a lot of technology coming around virtual touring, and then tying it back into, for especially realtors, tying it back into your CRM system. So, look out for some of that stuff coming out too.
Thank you, Amy. And Cindy, some quick questions. So you're in Salt Lake City, Utah. Very good market for investor as well as home buyer. Good barrier of entry. What is the most important, say, a couple things that come to mind that separates one open house from the rest in your market? That would be a game changer from a lead gen perspective, and a follow-up perspective, things of that nature.
Oh, it's all in the setup, Joe. You don't start getting ready for your own house on Friday afternoon. You do it days before, and you go and you drop flyers, you run the ads, you knock on the doors and tell all of the neighbors, "Oh gosh, I hope we don't cause you any inconvenience." Guess where that conversation goes? So many of the buyers come from the neighbors. So it's really working that neighborhood beforehand. It's the most I don't know, invasive wrong word, can't think of it, way to go knock on the door. Hey, just wanted to let you know where you're going to be. You're not trying to sell them anything. You're giving information. Oh, they're nosy neighbors. And oh, by the way, well,
We lost you, Cindy. Cindy, you there? Cindy, we can't hear you. If you want to come back in and out, we can't hear you. There?
okay.
You're back now. We missed all the gems.
Oh shoot, I'm so sorry. I sit there in that time frame. Okay, real quick, the key on open houses is starting to work it a week in advance if you can, and working the neighbors all around that whole entire neighborhood. You have a reason to go knock on their door. It's such a great conversation starter. Who do you know? By the way, what do you think this will do to the value of your home? You just start talking. It's an open, easy conversation. Who I'm looking for when they walk in the front door of the open house, I'm looking for that seller. The one who he's coming in because she's going to be selling her home. That's who comes into the open houses that I'm looking for, because they come. Everybody who's going to be selling their house anywhere that is in that neighborhood, and they see a new house come on the market, they're going to come into that open house. That's where your next seller is. And the key is getting listings, so you can get 4 more listings out of every listing that you have. And then in the follow up, it's the key with I use a software program. It's called Open Home Pro. And so when they come into the open house, they sign in on the iPad, and it swirls around. So it's like one of those you get at the restaurants when you go in. People are used to that. They do know. Don't give them a piece of paper and a pen and tell them to freaking write their name down. You'll get Donald Duck at ABC at AOL.com. That just don't work. But anyway, I'm talking a long time and I yelled it.
So I see. What's the name of the real estate company that you transitioned to? By the way, it's virtual.
Yeah. So by the way, I resigned from Berkshire Hathaway, of which whom I love very much and has served me really well. And I have joined Real Broker.
Okay.
So Sharon Shrivatsa over
Yep.
at Real Broker. Yeah.
Yeah, I was with Real at one time, but because I teach CE, I didn't want people thinking I was trying to recruit. I think it's a great online company. I had to kind of separate myself with the CE courses I teach. So I put my licenses under a property management company. But very good, very nice move, very smart move. It's a very aggressive company.
Joe, do you know Sharon Shrivatsa?
Yeah, I know. I've seen him on different calls. I've seen him in person. Yeah, I mean, listen, he serves a great purpose in what he does. Very high energy, smart guy. I think they got something really good there. If I was going to compare, I know of EXP, I know of Sirhan. I do like the real concept. I like what they're doing with it. I like the type of realtors they're resonating with and identifying with. And what I like about them, as well as EXP, they're open to working outside their traditional, hey, you got to work with these people in Power Team. So I find that the virtual uh, companies out there are open to working with and creating their own power teams and their own bullpen and their own depth chart of who they want to work with. They don't feel forced to work with any one individual. Um, and I find that very appealing. I'm doing a AI real estate discussion for EXP this week, and I'm doing a CE course for asset based lending for a real group net the following week. So I feel like that works. But I think Sirhan is coming around full circle too, especially on the East Coast. It'll be interesting to see how he impacts both of those virtual services for real estate brokers. And listen, let's be honest with you. The cost benefit at Real is way more. I know what you pay and don't pay compared to all the rest of the brokerages out there. So it's more net in your pocket. And at the end of the day, with this whole new NAR lawsuit settlement, you have to be concerned with everything on your bottom line. So good luck with everything, Cindy, and thank you. So, we've gotten the real estate agent perspective, we've gotten the real estate investor perspective, the real estate service provider, you know, hosting community events, going door knocking, partnering markets with local businesses. I have one realtor that I gave her I thought it was good advice at one time when I was teaching social media strategies. She does a video discussion from every coffee shop that's neighboring her new listing or her upcoming open house. She'll do a tour of the coffee shop that's most convenient to that location. Okay. So that's very important. So, like, she's identifying with the local business here in Philadelphia and saying, okay, come by this coffee shop before you come by my open house. Or, by the way, this is a great place to have a cup of coffee with your dog outside. It's pet friendly and it's only blocks away from the home that you could live in. So she does selling points either for coffee shops or local restaurants up to the point of selling that property or hosting that open house. Attending local networking events, I'm not a fan of the Chamber of Commerce stuff. It doesn't really resonate with me. I'm more investor driven. But as a real estate agent, that's your fish pond. They know what's going on in that local demographic and that local market. And sponsoring local community charity events, giving back. If they can afford to do that, that's where the money stretches out the most. Maybe even creating a local newsletter and doing it virtually and putting it on a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group and hosting seminars. Pulling back, from a recruiting perspective, most people bring me in for CE instruction to recruit realtors into their downline. I think it's brilliant, but it's another way of a social media lead gen tactic. It's not all about just getting the client. It's also about building up team. Steve, thank you for your patience. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to our discussion this morning. Lead generation for your real estate business strategies. Steve, going once. There you go.
Sorry, I'm here. Sorry about that, Joe, for the little button up. Anyway, this has been a great discussion. I've been pretty much taking notes on everyone's ideas, and I wanted to echo a couple things that were said earlier. The biggest mistake I've made, and I have come from there, is it's great to network. It's great to do meetings. It's great to see people, stick them in your phone, and then you forget about them. Then you don't follow up. And it's hard. You're doing, much closer to weight, every sector of businesses, a lot going on. So having those sectors, those service sessions in the background, whether it's a virtual assistant, whether it's a CRM, whether it's whatever, to make sure that either it reminds you to follow up, and you to follow up, or your staff, or whatever, that's where you can easily drop everything. And also, when you move into a technology, I don't care if it's Google Sheets as a way of tracking, who you work with and whatever. Make sure you understand how to get what you need out of that technology when it's time to move on. When you're getting out of constant contact, moving to HubSpot, how do you move that over? I mean, for me, for the longest time, until frankly the last couple of years, it's still good, but for the last couple of years, there's been a lot more competition in the wholesaler in the investor space as well as in the realtor space. People just found I was the only one in my market that cared about investors, and so it just happened. Now it's a lot more outreach. We tried cold calling, we're trying cold calling, we try some bot leads, we're trying different things. But the funniest thing for me, I think I do a horrible job on social media. Actually trying to, I'm actually partnering with a social media company for doing this, and we will be offering stuff as packages. But people are like, "Oh, you're everywhere on social media. You're all over Facebook. You're all over this." Like, I don't think I post that much, but thank you. But people do notice. They may not talk, they may not click you, they may not like or any of that stuff, but it's, oh, we've seen you. We like that you talk about real stuff, whatever. So my tips, I guess, if I can share any, is depending on what you are. As a real estate investor, my buy side is referral fees. My buy side is bring me a deal and I can pay you money. I can close quickly. That's and of course also, even though I'm a licensed broker, network with other agents. They're going to have a listing. They're going to say, I don't see personally smart. Hey, Steve's always asking me about multifamily. But really on that side, it's referral fees. It's letting the I always joke about the what's wrong with spread and what's great about Pittston forums. They're kind of annoying, but that's a great place to be there because not a lot of pros go there. On the finding investors and finding clients, that also is a lot of social media networking, a lot of getting out and meeting people and having webinars. Finding the actual end buyers, that's when it becomes you've got to rise above. We're trying a new strategy. We're still doing cold calling, but we're aiming toward a larger set of investors. We're aiming toward the investors that own 525 or 5 or above 10 units. I would say what size the building is. Because all of the wholesalers and all of the realtors are taking, single family 1 to 4. That's where all the wholesalers are living to die. Very few are looking at the self-storage, mobile home parks, the larger investors. So there's less traffic in that. And we're finding, and we're just starting, we're finding less traffic at that altitude. But none of it works if you don't have a CRM. You don't have, in my case, a virtual assistant. I actually, like I said, I teamed up with a social media marketing company. And it's hard to find one if you're a small investor. It's hard to find one that doesn't want thousands of dollars a month. And in a market like this, that's hard to come up with. But having that team, having that organization, and really just working. I've learned a lot watching Joe and just constantly never lets a text message go without being responded. Never lets an event go without least considering. And I'm trying to get better at that. That's where it is. But for my life of going out and meeting people, the follow-up is where I've always struggled the most, and that's why I'm working the hardest at that end of it.
Thank you, Steve. And thank you for the kind words. I mean, I think the biggest opportunity, like in a market where you're at, because it's not as big as people think, even though the Poconos and Northeast Pennsylvania, very big, large, you have to know people and you have to provide real, consistent, and continuous insight to the market. It's wherever you are. Okay. So I think instead of spending money on expanding your database or expanding your circle of influence or your sphere of influence, why don't you spend money on getting to know your sphere of influence? There's enough leads. If you have 20,000 people in your LinkedIn, you should be able to get enough leads out of that to last the next 2 years. Okay. And then from those leads, another 2 years. if you work that your current sphere correctly, whether it's Facebook. So to me, instead of me expanding into all kinds of video work, which I feel is unnecessary, let me get control of the database I have today, the sphere of influence I have today, and social media market and advertise to them, or traditionally invite them or cordially invite them to be part of something that I'm involved with, or be part of a referral program, or be part of our each other's power team. Then the open houses. When I was in the residential space, I went to 2 to 3 to 4 open houses every Saturday and Sunday, and just cordially, introduce myself to the licensed real estate agent and let them know if I could be of any assistance. Was it good? Yeah, I followed with a lot. A lot of those realtors remember me. I did that every Saturday and Sunday. Okay, direct mailing still works. People still open their envelopes for mail, right? Looking at different type of listings like FSBOs and expires. I personally like smaller mastermind groups and following up with those individuals. We have a podcast here. I have extended multiple times. If you need some video work, let's do an interview and get you in front of people. Okay, why would I do that? Because I don't know who you're in front of, and you definitely don't know who I'm in front of. So now we're cross collaborating this great marketing idea, okay, to create lead generation for both of us. So at the end of the day, it's qualitative over quantitative. So if you're going to create lead generation today and you have already a great following, why haven't you taken advantage of the following? So right now, I'm taking a step back to go 4 steps forward to make sure people know where my website is, people know where our podcast is, people know who's in the podcast, people are downloading the podcast, people are understanding that I offer CE. I'm also a direct asset-based lender. I provide white label marketing for brokers and referral partners. I offer video content and marketing work for real estate professionals throughout the country. I attend events regionally and nationally. That's not that hard, right? So you got to kind of shave it down and keep working on it. So like what Amy gave us this morning, I'm definitely going to apply maybe in the next 3 months, because I know what I'm doing over the next 3 months. Okay, and I have to stick to it. I have to get completion. So whatever you're going to do with the lead generation, invest in it and complete it. Don't go halfway and then, oh, this sucks, because you don't know where the other half is going to take you, right? You don't know who you can partner with in expanding lead gen. It's so important. Like from a lender perspective or a real estate agent perspective, there's so many different power team players that you can partner with to create additional lead generation. Co-hosting events, co-hosting podcasts, co-hosting blogs, tagging one another, sharing each other's thoughts, doing follow-up and follow-through. It's all about the consistency and continuity to create lead generation for your real estate business, whatever it is. Linda, some final thoughts to our discussion this morning on lead generation for your real estate business strategies.
Yes, whatever you implement in your strategy, the fortune is in the follow-up. It doesn't matter how many business cards you gather if you don't call them and let them know that it was a pleasure to meet them, you're putting them in your CRM, and that they'll be receiving updated messages from you. So follow up with everyone, folks.
Thank you, Linda. Setting specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant and time-bound objectives is a good way to plan the steps to meet the long-term goals in your grant, in what you're trying to do. It helps you take the ideas to action. So setting a really true net worth goal from what you're doing with the lead gen is very important. Setting a goal for honing your deal analysis and what you're doing as well. Creating a goal for continuous real estate education. Maybe it's about educating people around you. Mapping out the building and the diversification. You can't do it all yourself. It's numerically impossible. set a goal, what you feel that what you want to do about growing your network from the lead generation. Okay, and set a goal for growing your team. So the lead gen is also about team building as well. So if you're a licensed real estate agent, how many realtors do you want in your team by the end of this year? How many do you want in quarter two, quarter three, quarter four? Who do you need to partner with to make those differences? Because then the lead gen becomes that much more apparent and visual. I want to thank our business partners and sponsors this morning. I want to thank Mr. Uridel Perkins of Perkatech, your social media strategist and advisor in the social media arena for real estate professionals. I'd like to thank MB Capital, where I'm a referral partner for unsecured business lines of credit with real estate professionals throughout the country. If you'd like to become a referral partner, please let me know. I'd like to thank Lendmark, an nationwide asset-based lender, where I'm a senior loan analyst providing lending for real estate investors throughout all 50 states in the country. And I want to thank Linda this morning with Realty 411, providing a national publication for real estate professionals and services, and providing national events, which has a great upcoming event in LA and a couple other webinars coming up as well. Keep a lookout. If you're not on her email list, get on it. Go to her site. And, we're here every Saturday morning, 8 a.m., and every Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with different subject matter. If there's something we're not impacting you with, let me know, and we'll get that subject to the front line. We're nearing the 75th podcast that we're offering here in our website at creativeburststrategies.com. You can also reach out to me through josephscarice.com, josephscarice.com. And my quote this morning, get real quick here, and something to think about. Doubt kills more dreams than failure. Everybody have a blessed Sunday morning. Please take care of yourself. Have a great week. We'll be seeing you next week, Saturday and Sunday. And if there's any questions, if we could be of any assistance, by all means, please reach out to any of your moderators that were here today that gave back some great education insight. I'll be ending the room in the next 30 seconds. And thank you.